Hello everyone, I'm Swati and today we are going to see some binary pattern problems using C language. So firstly, starting with a very easy one, I'll show you the code directly. See, we have printed a very simple pattern. In the first row we have all ones, in the second row we have all zeros, and so on. This gets repeated. So that means in the odd rows we are printing 1, and in the even row, that is second row, fourth row, sixth row, we are going to print zeros. So this is the program for that. We know that it's a matrix like pattern, so we are going to have row value as well as column value. Both are going to be equal to the number of input, and here we are checking whether the row is even or not. So if it is divisible by 2, that means it is an even number. So if the row is even, we are going to print 0, else we are going to print 1. So that's the code and the output. And now in the same, if we want a little modification here, if you want to print this pattern, so here we have alternating ones and zeros, right? If it ends with 1, again it's going to start with 0. Or another way to look at this pattern is that firstly we have it starts from 1 in the odd row and starts from 0 in the even row and gets alternating continuously. That is, it gets on toggling. So let's write a code for this. That's the logic. We have to just print 0 or 1 here. So here I have not declared the input variables, that's why it's showing error. So here you can see we have got the exact output which which we wanted. So here what I have done is, first initially we have set a value as 1, and we are just going to change that each time. So as just look at this output. So if the row is odd, we are going to start by 1. So here, using the conditional operator, we have checked if the row is odd, then the value is 1, else the value is going to be 0. So that's what has happened. If it is odd row, it starts from 1, and if it is even row, it starts from 0. And then we are going to continuously change that value. This exclamation mark means not. So not means 0 is going to change as 1 and 1 is going to change as 0. So it keeps on toggling each time. So that's the logic of this program. And moving on to the next pattern. So before doing this, we can, if we change this n value as r, we know what is going to happen. Let's try that. So we have got a left tilted triangle. So here what has happened is the number of column is equal to the number of rows, as we have solved in our previous pattern programs, right? So now we are going to solve this pattern. So here we had alternate ones and zeros, but in this we are not going to have like that. Here we have ones at a particular place. You can see we have ones in the first column and in the last row and in the left diagonal. Similarly, for any other pattern, you have to find the positions where ones or zeros are present, and according to that we have to write the condition and do the programming. So here the condition is if the column is equal to 1 or if the row is equal to n, that is the last row, and for the left diagonal, so as we saw here, this for printing this diagonal, the condition is that the row value should be equal to the column value, or the column number should be equal to the row number. So this is the first row and the first column, right? This is second row and second column. This is third row and third column. So that means left diagonal condition is the row number should be equal to the column number. So that's the logic, and in the same program, if we make few changes, then we can get this output. So this is the condition which I told you. The column should be equal to the row, or the column should be equal to the last value, or the column should be equal to 1. Here it should be row. Okay, so since it was a condition, we should write 2 equal sign, and now you can see we have got the exact output which we wanted. And now moving on to our next pattern. So this is also similar to our previous one. Just by making some more changes in the previous value, previous program, we can get this output. So here we have 1 in the first column, in the last row, in the first row, in the last column, and in the left diagonal, as well as in the right diagonal. And in remaining places we have 0. Okay, so now we know the condition for the left diagonal. What is the condition for the right diagonal? Is this we have seen in previous programs, that if we want to print a right tilted triangle, then what is the condition? We have to look at the row and the column. So here the row is first row and fifth column. Here it is second row and fourth column. Here it is third row and third column, and similarly for these. And if we look at all these numbers, then there is a relation between them. Their sum is equal to 6, right? So that 6 is actually the n plus 1, input plus 1. So that is the condition. If row plus column is equal to n plus 1, that is the input plus 1, then we are going to get this pattern. Okay, let's make few changes in this and get that output. So here actually we have not changed the column value. It is still equal to the row value alone. So we have to change this as n. And now you can see we have got, okay, we have not written if r equal to 1. So here we have got the exact pattern which we wanted. Okay, in the same program, if I change this 0 and print an empty space, let's see what's happening. So you can see we have a X mark enclosed inside a box. Similarly, you can form other interesting patterns also using this program. So you can see by just writing simple codes, we are able to do some interesting patterns, right? So now let's move on to our another pattern. Here we can see that we have more ones and less zeros. So we'll try to just focus in this pattern to print zeros instead of printing ones. So here we can see that this 0 lies in the center. That is, if our input is 5, then it's going to be present in the center. That is, 5 by 2 will be approximately 3. So in the third column we are going to print these zeros, and we are just going to write that our row value should not be equal to 1 and should not be equal to the last value. So if we want to print it here also, then we don't need to give that condition. And let's code for that. So here we have got the pattern which we wanted. In this, what we have done is since we are going to print for odd number, I have given n plus 1 by 2. If you want to print for even number, then we should give n by 2 plus 1. That is, for 6 we need the center value will be 3 and 4. If you want to print only 1, then you can take n by 2 plus 1 alone, or otherwise you can give two conditions. So that actually depends on the pattern which you want to print. So here we are going to give only odd numbers, and for odd number the condition is n plus 1 by 2, that is 5 plus 1, 6 by 2 will give us 3, right? So in the third column we are going to print it. So that's what we have done here. Let's move on to another pattern. So finally we'll solve a number patterns. Till now we saw only with ones and zeros, right? This is a pattern which is having numbers. Okay, so here as you can see, the pattern is different for odd rows and even rows. For odd, this is an odd row, so the number is continuously increasing, 4, 5 and 6. And for the even row, the number is decreasing, 3 and 2. So it's decreasing, right? So we have to write the code separately for odd and even. Then how to print the first digit of this? Then for that we have to think logic separately for odd and even again. So here we can see 1 is actually equal to the row value into 0 plus 1. That is 1 into 0 plus 1 will give us 1. How to get this 3 is 2 into 1 plus 1 is giving us 3, right? And 4 is actually 3 into 1 plus 1. So the pattern which is being followed is that row value into, we have to set one value as 0 for odd, plus 1, and that value is keep on increasing. So first it's 0, then it's 1, then it's 2. So that's the pattern which is being followed for odd rows. Now for even rows, we can see the value which is that it's starting from 1. So r into 1 plus 1. And that values keep on increasing. R into 2 plus 2. So here also the value is increasing, but it's not the case in odd. And here r into 3 plus 3. So that means r into value plus value for even, and r into value plus 1 is the condition for odd row. So we'll try to implement that in a program. So this is the pattern program, and first for even row I have set the value as 1. Let me show you. For the even it's starting from 1, and for the odd it starts from 0. So that's what we have written here. For the even it's 1, and for the odd it's 0. And for the even row the value is keeping on decreasing, and for the odd it will keep on increasing. See, odd row it's keep on increasing, and for the even row, for the second row, it's decreasing. So that's what we have written here. And this is the condition which I told you. For even row we have printed start is equal to r into even plus even, and then we have to continuously increase that even value. And for the odd row, its start is equal to r into odd plus 1 alone, and we have to increase this odd value each time after printing. So let's execute it and see. So you can see we have got the exact output which we wanted. Let's compare it with this Excel file. So here we have got the exact output. So that's the logic. You have to just find the logic for the first number which has to be printed, and then continuously increase or decrease it according to the pattern. So this was the logic. Finally, I'd like to conclude with a quote that perseverance is the key to success. So you have to keep on working continuously for your success, and for getting success in such coding, you have to practice daily, practice these interesting problems daily, try something new daily, and surely you will succeed. Thank you.